Well, you would think hanging this up as many times as I have in like the last 2 months, I could hang it up right. No, all the trees are upside down. Let's do this again. Hi, my friend, it's Pat Sloan here. Now it's right. Now it's right. Oh my goodness. So this is Wendy's quilt again because it's all finished and quilted. And here is mine with similar fabrics, but a different fabric line. So they're a little bit, oh, what, is this like a thing today? Look, they're upside down. Is this a thing? Holy moly. Okay, here we go. So my fabrics are a little bit more traditional colors, a little bit darker greens, a little bit more, you know, a little darker reds. So let me hang mine up so it can have all the glory today since the top is done. And here's the star of the show. The crowd roars. Yes, there's the stars appearing out in the stage. Okay, so it's exciting. It's exciting when you get the top done. Now I have to pick a backing. And I'm going to use one of my wide backs. So I do have, now there is aqua in mine, in my fabric line. So I could do my Harmony wide back in the more aqua. There's two of these. One's a little bit more blue. This one's a little bit more aqua for the backing of it. But I also have a light green. And I was thinking the light green just because there's so much white here. I also have that hunter green, which is darker than this. It's like the darkest greens in here. But I don't really want that dark background. So I was thinking the light green would be another option. So let me know what you think. I'm leaning towards the aqua, but the green is nice too because the binding is this fabric. And what we're going to do is go on the back side of the table and audition doing a straight strip or a diagonal for this, for the binding, to just see what they both look like. And then I'm going to cut that today. I have to show you my progress before we go because it's right here. So I was doing a little stitching. So I am working on the words, the happy fall. It's so darn cute. So I basically am coming to the conclusion I have to stay pretty small with these cross stitches. I enjoy them, but the epic large ones, I'll work on a little bit at a time, but I do want to get, okay, so I'm going to digress. But anyways, I need to keep things small. Small, that seems to be where I am with cross stitch. So I need to move this down here in the rolling assistant. Okay, let's take a look at this binding for the Christmas stars. So if I'm going to do, I'm just going to use the edge of the Harmony. So this will be the back if I use it. And if I'm going to just do straight a grain, I mean straight, you know, like with the fabric, this is what it is. You know, what you're seeing here, this is the layout it would be, the positioning that it would be. And so if I wanted to see how that worked, one of the deals is, you know, like how would you cut that? Here is one where like part of it, I'm just going to scroll you in here. Because of the way this is set up with this image right here, you know, part of it is going to look like this. And then when that length is gone, there might be another section of the binding that looks like this. And I'm pretty sure that is not what I want. I don't want then I could fussy cut it, but it would be a lot of waste because of the orientation of these. If I would do 1.5 like I always do, because I do single binding, so I would do 1.5 if I was going to center this, okay? Then I would do 1.5 and center here, which actually wouldn't be too bad. There'd be a little bit of waste in between from this stuff here. But if I did it on the diagonal, I'm going to get an entirely different look. And so this is the diagonal right here. So now I want to rotate that so that I can put the edge here. And now look how spectacular that is. That is like a pinwheel or like a candy cane effect, like going across. So cool. Now this is the backing. I am not a person who like thinks the binding has to totally match the backing, you know, because I'm really doing binding for the front of the quilt. So let's just see what it looks like with the green. So here, if I had this with the green, there. So now you can see on the back side. So, you know, it looks better with the green, but on the front, I think the aqua, I think the aqua is fine because it matches the front, but now I'm leaning towards the green for the backing of the quilt. It's a lighter green that is than used in the fabric line, but I mean in the fabric lines for the front of the quilt, but I'm okay with that to keep it lighter. And this looks really good against here. But don't you like that? Don't you like that on the diagonal? Perfect, perfect, perfect. Okay, so I will be cutting that on the diagonal and cutting the backing. I'm probably gonna go with this green. These two, diagonal binding and the green harmony wide back. I have enough. I'm probably gonna be using up some, I'll probably sew some of it together. It defeats the purpose of a wide back, doesn't it? But you know, like you have extra, so I'm not going to waste it. I'll just sew a few pieces together. Okay, the other thing today is Hug-a-Bear Day, which, so if you have a quilt with bears on it, would love, love, love to see that. And it is also game day. So if you have quilts that have gaming themes, whether it might be like a computer games, like Mario Brothers quilt or something like that, or you have like a checkerboard quilt or a Parcheesi quilt, here is my game day quilt from the Tantalizing Table Toppers book. So game night, love it, love it, love it. So share one of your quilts that has some sort of a game theme, Monopoly, or maybe you have like a Sudoku quilt. Those were really popular for a while. People were doing those. So fun. All right, I have another quilt parade of your Wednesday blocks or Block Wednesdays. Let's take a look. Kicking off with Allison's block, look at the blue that has tiny little birds in it. You can see it on the bottom petal best. The two little birds kissing. How sweet is that? Audrey's. I love the purple, and of course she has got some mushrooms in there. Do I have the mushroom fabric? I don't think I have that one yet. I'm on the lookout. I'm always on the lookout. Cheryl's has got this adorable little fall gnome with the little pumpkins and leaves. Look how cute he is. And then she changed up the four corners and added a second color, or fourth color if you count the background. So there's, you know, orange, green, no, it's three. Orange, green, and white. I can't count. Don't listen to me. Here is another Cheryl's, and she said at the farmer's market she loves the produce and the pumpkins. So of course there's pumpkins in here, and it looks like trick-or-treating doggies with their hats and things. So darn cute. Cindy's has purple. I'm loving the purple with this. It's got a purple flower, a fussy cut right in the center as well. Very nice. Colleen's is classic, this gray, the gray and yellow with black, and it's got that owl. So I have that fabric with the owl, and I use that. Didn't I use that for something? I'm sure I did. She says she lives in a farming community and gets her pumpkins just down the road. That's nice. And speaking of pumpkins, Connie has this awesome pumpkin right in the middle of her block. I love it. Jeannie is playing around with her wonderful fabrics. She has fussy cut a deer, and it looks like probably eagles in the corners. They are spectacular. Very spectacular. All right, Kendall, our ambassador. Here is his with the green. I like the repeat of the green from the center out to the four corners. That is wonderful. Christy is got that turkey in the middle. I'm just loving the turkey. You know, I got that piece of fabric, just the turkey. I didn't buy any of the other line. And I like her border that she's putting around it. Here is our ambassador Laura's block. So sweet with the floral. Now she did her four corners a little bit different as well, so it is so fun to be able to see variations like that. And when you're doing just one block for the sampler, you're not putting it in repeat to create that secondary design, so it is kind of fun to play around with fabric placement. Louise has this gorgeous turquoise. She brought it like from the center out to the corners. And she says she likes the fresh corn and the honey at the farmers markets in the fall. Honey is so good. And it's so different depending on the bees that were producing it. Here is Mary's beautiful center fabric. That flower is just gorgeous. And I like that sort of rusty color for the four corners. Here is our ambassador Melissa, and she is doing a red, white, and blue, patriotic. Look at the stripes for the blades on the block. They are awesome. So nice. I have to show you Patricia's here, who is got doubles. Yes, you're seeing double. She's got two mints in one, right? Do you remember that commercial? The double mint gum, wasn't it? They look fabulous. Patsy's is super sweet with nice fall vibes. She loves the crafts at the farmer's market. Yes, we cannot forget about the crafts. That's the best part. I love it. I love to see what people, how creative they are. Robin's is so pretty. It's pink. She's got different pink fabrics and that darker for the petals so they really stand out. And she loves the preserves and the candied jalapenos. So Robin, you must be in the Southwest for finding candied jalapenos at your fall farmer's market. I'm not sure I could find them at mine, although if I did, I would get some. Here is Sandy's with this really vibrant yellow that just pops with the black, that floral image. So cool. And then the polka dot with the flowers. I love the polka dot. Sheila's is soft, peachy colors. They are so pretty. Just love that. And even the background is a very, very soft peach. Suzanne, our ambassador, look how pretty her block is. I love that sort of tan in the corners. And then she also used several different fabrics, so you can see how that turns out. Teresa just went snazzy. Look at the stripe that she has. And then the button fabric. So darn cute. And she said she loves apple butter from the farmer's market. Oh my goodness, yes, apple butter. I grew up on apple butter. So love it. And we're going to end with our ambassador Yvonne's block. It is such great fall vibes. And look at that polka dot for the background. Oh my goodness, loving that polka dot. All right, my friends, this was amazing. Thank you, thank you, thank you for sharing. They were so good. Thank you, everybody, for sharing. There are tons more over at my group, Quilt Along with Pat Sloan at Facebook, so you can be sure to go over there and check them out. Give everybody some love for sharing all of their work. Okay, a couple of requests to show you how I do these scarves again, how I tie them. I have to take the mic off. So I will talk loud and have it over here on the table, but I can't be wearing it because it's clipped to the scarf. Okay, what I do is this is not an infinity scarf. So this is just a long scarf. You know, the infinity scarves are a circle that's already sewn, which you just loop it around twice. But these are a long scarf. So I take the scarf like this, take it around my neck, and then I bring one side down long and the other about where I want it to be. Then I do one loop around, and so now these two tails need to be about the same. And then I just take it from the front and put it through that loop, and take the other one through the front and put it through the loop. And that's it. And then depending on the cloth, I'll put this back on. Depending on the cloth that you have, it could be very fluffy, or it could be very drapey and slender. This is kind of like a medium fluffiness. And so there you go. That's how I do these scarves, generally the same way all the time. And it's easy to do, and it's fun to wear. All right, let's do a little Q&A. So I have a few questions that also came in on YouTube from my call out to ask me a few questions that are not, where's the pattern? Let's have some fun. Well, they were kind of like more intense questions. You didn't really ask me any fun questions. So I'll go ahead and answer these. I may not get to all of them, but the first one is sort of a technical question, more of a process, technical design sort of question. It's from Carol, and she goes, how do I decide when I'm cutting my fabric so that the print runs in straight lines where things are really obvious, is what she means, like something like a dot or a stripe. You know, how do I decide whether it should be going straight, you know, like this, or whether I like it to be more angled, or, you know, I don't worry so that the dots might not be lined up. A lot of this has to do with how long it is and how thin it is. Because if I have something that's a square and I'm cutting squares out of this, and then maybe I'm making a half square triangle, so just envision this is a big piece of fabric. So, but anyways, I'm not as worried here if it's something's just a little bit off. I don't need these lines to all be exactly on the edge for sort of the patchwork part of it, as long as the shapes are not too big. Once the shapes get bigger, I find that visually I tend to then try to line them up, and if they're not, that might bug me. You can always audition it by folding a piece and seeing what you think. But when you get into borders and inner borders and skinny places, I find that I do, not that I've done it, most of the time, and for many, many years, I just cut it. If it was a little bit shifted, then the dots kind of, you know, went off the, you know, edge. But nowadays, for some reason, I would like them to line up nicely, so that if I'm doing this, I would like this edge to have the same spot for the dot, or the stripe to be, you know, pretty straight. So for me, it is the length of the piece, and primarily, and the width. If it's wider, it can handle a little bit of shift in my brain, but if it's narrow, no. All right, there's two questions that kind of are similar. So one was from Ginny, and she's basically asking me, do I ever feel overwhelmed? Yes, of course, everybody does. I don't think you're alive if you don't feel overwhelmed at some point. You can't be living. And then what do I do to break my stress? What is my stress reliever? And the other is from Shanna, who asked, do I ever lose my sojo, you know, my interest in sewing? Do I ever lose that? And then what I do to get it back? So they kind of they're different but similar. So I'm going to do these two, and then we'll probably leave the other one for another day. And then hopefully you'll ask some fun ones. So to add into that. So for Ginny, do I ever feel overwhelmed? Yes, of course. Yes. And what do I do? That's the interesting part. For me, because I don't sew every day. Of course, you know that. I just sew for a little bit every day, but still, that isn't really a stress reliever for me. If I am here in my house, in my studio, this is my everyday spot. So when I need to break my stress or break what's going on, I need to leave the house. I absolutely need to leave the house. I need to go somewhere else, go to the store, go to a park, go somewhere where, and actually I need to go somewhere where my brain is engaged in something else, where I can't just keep mulling over the same problem or the same thing that's bugging me. You know, it might be like something with your family, or it might be something with your job, or something with your neighbors, you know, just something somebody said that bugs you. You know, everybody has these things. It could be even much more like a death in the family. Those kind of things are very large and very deep, and they take a lot to get over. And so for me, I need to kind of break the cycle. So maybe that'll work for you. Everybody's very different, but I need to break the cycle and have my brain do something entirely different and not keep mulling it over. So I just got to thinking, so I'm adding this in the next day, is that if what is bothering you, what is stressing you, is actually the projects that you're working on, then go back and look at the previous video with the Q&A about doing a schedule, writing it down, doing a schedule, making deliverables. That will all ease or help you resolve problems and stresses of doing too many things and having no deadlines maybe, or not a very good deadline figured out. So that is the other thing. I've just assumed you meant non-quilting, you know, project stresses. Okay, the other one is if I sort of lost my interest in sewing, what do I do? Well, I'm going to be really, really honest because it has been a long time since that's happened to me. One of the things is when you have to deliver something, it's like your job, you know, like you went to your job, or maybe it's raising your family or just making dinner. You just don't feel like it, but you have to for whatever reason. You can't go out to eat, so you have to make the dinner, and you're not going to eat if you don't have anything, or other little people are relying on you to make their dinner, and you need to make their dinner even if you don't feel like it. You just do it. For me, sewing that's my end product. And so if I didn't feel like it, it didn't matter. I had to do it anyways. So it's been a long time, and I don't really feel that very often that I don't feel like doing it. It's pretty rare. But many years ago, before when it was just my hobby, I would go into a little bit of a slump. I didn't know what to make. You know, I had no goals, so I could make anything I wanted, but I didn't know what I wanted to make. I just didn't really have anything in the hopper, nothing waiting for me to work on. But what I advise people, whether this is good or bad, is to just go make yourself sew. Make yourself sew. Get a simple project, maybe like my Oh My Stars. Cut it and sew it. And make yourself do it. Don't say, oh, I don't feel like it. Oh, no, you do. You do. Every day. You're in there. 10 minutes, 15 minutes, 30 minutes. You are going to do it every single day. And it is a job. It's a job to go in there and get going again. So you take it on as a challenge to yourself and force yourself to do it, just like you would to go to work when you don't feel like it, or make the little kids meals when you don't feel like it. You have to do it. And it breaks you. It breaks the cycle. You all of a sudden, you were like, okay, once you start doing that, you're like, okay, I'm doing it. Give it a try. Give it a try. Tell me if it works in the comments here at YouTube. And I would love to hear some other questions. I have one other question that's also, quite a little bit longer answer from me because, I'm wordy. I talk a lot. So, okay, my friend, I'm excited. I'm excited to have this. I'm leaning towards the green, but if you guys can convince me to use the aqua, go ahead, Leave me a note in the comments. And this is a quilt from Wendy Shepherd's book, My Good Buddy. So much fun to do. And I've seen some finishes in our group, Quilt Along with Pat Sloan. So I love you. Mwah. Thank you for being here in the Sloan Zone. I will see you online.